Talking with the experts.
Join Brandon Gano, a visionary entrepreneur, as he reveals why the current business model is broken and how it leads to burnout, failure and stress in episode 535.
If you look at any human being, let's take a step back. You look at any job description, they're listing out tasks that need to be done within that role. Well, that means that you're going to go out to the marketplace to find a human being that has a passion and talent for all of those tasks. Now, I understand we're hiring for culture and attitude first and then training for skills, yes. But what if 3 out of the 8 tasks that person has to do actually gives them no energy and takes energy from them? They might be a great culture fit this week, but they do that for a number of months and years, and it's going to burn them out. So what we focus on doing is, again, stripping out the standard accepted business model. And we say, what does this human being need to thrive in this organization? So you might have somebody, this is an extreme example, but you might have someone who does your marketing, but also really loves numbers. So they go hop over and do some accounting or whatever, some payroll once a week, whatever it is that fuels them and lights them up. The ability to retain your talent actually skyrockets because
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts, where we believe that success is a journey, and every journey is easier with help from friends. That's why we bring you top-notch experts and real business heroes eager to share their lessons from the road to success. We delve into new topics each week: effective marketing strategies, innovative problem solving, financial planning, and team building. We tackle everything you need to know to grow your business and keep it thriving. Whether you dream about launching your first startup or a business veteran looking to shake things up, we've got you covered. With each episode, you'll gain knowledge, boost your confidence, and be inspired to take action. So, grab a coffee, make yourself comfortable, and join our exciting journey. You're not alone in this. We're here, guiding you, cheering for you, and celebrating each milestone. Let's turn your business dreams into reality, starting today. Here is your host, Rose Davidson.
Hello, welcome to Talking with the Experts. I'm your host, Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. Talking with the Experts is about business by business owners for business owners. You can find it on all podcast streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Brandon Gano. Hopefully I got that right. I practiced it before and probably haven't, but anyway, he'll correct me if it's not right. And Brandon's going to be talking to us about how your business could be broken and it's not your fault. Now, haven't we heard that a lot of times when we think that it's our fault our business is broken, and Brandon's going to share with us why it isn't our fault at all. Now, Brandon is a visionary entrepreneur who turned frustration into a successful business, which he built, franchised, and later sold for a significant profit. Now with his business partner and friend, he's pioneering an unprecedented approach to education and empower small business owners to achieve business growth like never before. Brandon, welcome to Talking with the Experts. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me, Rose. I'm excited to be here.
How did you come up with the name for your business, Whadif? And, what's the journey that you took from where you were before the business to what you are doing now?
Yeah, so all credit to the name actually goes to my business partner. He's been in the fractional consulting world for 2.5 decades. So when he was naming the company, he said, what is the essence of what we do? And it's asking this question, what if? That's our argument is that one question is the foundation for every great discovery that's ever taken place on the planet. But of course, being the lawyer that he is, he said, you cannot trademark what if. It is just common language. So we're both from New Jersey, and that's just how we say things. It's what if. It's one word. So we put the D in the middle. And if you can see behind me too, there's a giant upside down question mark. That is actually the D. And it has a meaning to it too. It's the question mark, yes, because we turn questions on their head. But there's also a play button, because we fully believe that you should be having a lot of fun while you're running and growing your business. So we always want to make sure to incorporate that into our clients' lives and in our business too. It's one of those core values that we have. So I kind of came into this world. That's his background. I came into this world after actually, as I was selling my last business, as you mentioned in my bio, and I just always had this passion to help small business owners achieve business ownership, not business operatorship or job ownership, as some would call it. That's what I had ended up achieving in that business, and I wanted to continue doing that. You mentioned I did start a franchise. I didn't pursue that business because there's a lot of things. We can unpack that if you want, but there was a lot of things that happened there. And I just realized that was too much of a narrow focus for me to be able to achieve that dream. There's only so many people that are going to buy into a franchise unless you're McDonald's. But with this route, we can help a diverse range of businesses. We don't niche down to any industry or type. So we can really have impact on a lot of people. And that's just something that I'm really passionate about.
I like the business name. I think it's really great because we're often asking ourselves, what if we had have done this and not done that? So it is a great thing, and you can build on that. So what if you did something else? So yeah, I love it. I think it's great. It's really catchy too.
Thank you.
Now, why can a business be broken, and then why isn't it our fault? Why isn't it our fault that our business is broken?
Yeah, so I don't want to call out the listener specifically. The argument is that business is broken. It's not just your business. The model that we're chasing, and the model that's really accepted in the world is this broken model. You look at, if we do a short little history lesson, the modern version of business came from the Industrial Revolution. So what happened was we were all kind of spread out, and we were in small towns, and everybody did their thing, right? You had the baker, you had the farmer, and all these different trades. Then you started to bring jobs into big buildings with steam stacks on the top, and you needed a lot of people to complete or to work at these companies to complete those jobs. What ended up happening was, instead of just hiring your neighbor's kid to work on your farm, now you're hiring strangers. And the corporations got bigger and bigger. And what happened? We started to put managers over teams and separate things into departments and silos. And there was this loss of control. Well, fast forward until today, it's the exact same model. Nothing has changed. So now when you look at the giant companies in the world, the Fortune 500, the Fortune 100, I told you my business partners consulted with over a dozen of them for 25 years. The model is identical. And what happens is those companies have a few things that small businesses don't. They have a lot of people, they have a lot of money, and because of those two things, they have a lot of time. Small business owners do not have any of those three in most cases, but we're still trying to copy this big model. We have our marketing divisions or departments, and we have HR, and we think about things like, oh, our sales is doing this, but what's our operations doing? Our argument, though, is when you separate those things out and you think about them separately, you further break the business model. So all we focus on doing is bringing that back together and really leveraging the 80-20 rule. What is the least amount of work we can do in any one area so that when it's tied together, you actually get the maximum effect to grow your business, to scale your business. And by doing that, we're able to eliminate up to 50% of the work in our clients' businesses just by following this business model.
It's an interesting business model where you can fit it into any type of organization. And I think small business owners in particular, when they're looking to expand their businesses, think that that they have to have a hierarchy of sorts. And really, I think a flatter organization is a lot more healthy in the business world.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing we do too is it's not necessarily about the hierarchy, like you said, or even about the position titles, the role titles. We build custom roles within our companies, because if you look at any human being, let's take a step back. You look at any job description, they're listing out tasks that need to be done within that role. Well, that means that you're going to go out to the marketplace to find a human being that has a passion and talent for all of those tasks. Now, I understand we're hiring for culture and attitude first, and then training for skills, yes. But what if 3 out of the 8 tasks that person has to do actually gives them no energy and takes energy from them? They might be a great culture fit this week, but they do that for a number of months and years, and it's going to burn them out. So what we focus on doing is, again, stripping out the standard accepted business model, and we say, what does this human being need to thrive in this organization? So you might have somebody, this is an extreme example, but you might have someone who does your marketing, but also really loves numbers. So they go hop over and do some accounting or whatever, some payroll once a week, whatever it is that fuels them and lights them up. The ability to retain your talent actually skyrockets because you're fueling the individual rather than just making them a cog in this big machine.
Yeah, so I guess multitasking perhaps would be if they were, as you say, really great at marketing but like numbers, they could multitask perhaps.
I hesitate with the word multitask because we're not doing it at the same time, but it's just whatever is involved with completing your role. So it's a custom role. So maybe for you, if you did marketing Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday you switch to whatever that other thing was, if it's completely different, it would be, I don't know the right word for it. I just hesitate with multitasking.
Yeah.
So yes and no at the same time.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. So, but I guess it's having maybe one main role, but doing something else as well as the thing that you're passionate about.
Yeah, and actually Google does this. There's a number of companies that do this. Google is famous for saying 20% of your paid time should be spent on personal projects. That's okay. But I also think that could be done better because why not just incorporate what that person does into actually moving the company forward by design, by making it part of their role so that they don't really even want to go work on personal projects because they're already doing it. So, yeah, it's not a brand new concept, but it's just bringing it to the small business world.
Yeah. So how would you how would you see, because that word is not, escapes me. How would you see a small business owner incorporating your business model into their workplace?
Yeah, so our business, we have a name for it to keep it simple and memorable. You've heard of other business models, operating systems. The book, The E-Myth, is an operating system. The book EOS or Traction, the business model is EOS. You've heard of that one. This is not a new concept. It's just, we call it a business architecture or the harmonious business architecture. So harmonious is a word with 10 letters that I'm not qualified to spell, but I can say it. And it's an acronym. So each of the 10 letters has a meaning. And what we did was say, all right, what are the traditional business disciplines that are in place at these big structures, even if they're broken? Like, what are the things that we must have in order to run a business and grow it? So I'll give you some examples. So at the top is strategic planning. Everybody's heard of strategic planning. I've met like 6 small business owners who actually do effective strategic planning. It's one of those things that just sounds like the big company should do it. So when we have 25 employees, we don't really need to do that. We just work as a team, right? So what we said was, what is that? Well, it's the navigation to your business. It's the compass, the map of where you're going. So that's what we did. We renamed it navigation. So that's the N in harmonious. Another great example would be time management. It's something that we all want to talk about, right? How is your time management skills? You can't manage time. You can only show up in time. So you can manage how you show up, what your calendar looks like. So the essence of that would be serenity. I think that's what we're all chasing when we say time management, is that feeling of serenity that no matter how busy your calendar is, you're recording this late at night, I'm recording this early in the morning, but it's by design. We've designed our calendars. And for me, this is exactly in line with how I want my day to go. I feel that sense of serenity. I'm not being pulled and chasing chaos and fires. So what we do is we go through this architecture. In the order it spells the word harmonious is not the order we approach it. But we go in this series of steps and we say, okay, we have to start at the top. What is your navigation? What is your strategic planning? So some things that are involved there is your mission, vision, and core values. And we usually get some pushback like, that's dumb. That can't be the foundation of a business model. Everybody does that. Yes and no. I'll argue that. Some people have pretty words on the wall that they never reference. Other people use those 3 things to literally guide every decision they make in their business. We lean that way. And then we go through our architecture. We have a process to go through it, but we plan what your company's doing on a 5-year basis. We break that down. Then we know what each individual role is doing. I'm oversimplifying this for the sake of speed here, but we always want to be checking that everything we're doing is building on itself and it's not destroying any other piece of the architecture. Nothing is independent of anything else. So we have to be very conscious if what we do in marketing, does that offend our navigation? What we do in our processes and our SOPs, does that offend our core values? So it's asking these questions back and forth. What if we do this, then what will happen?
Like that it's a great business model to be using in any type of organization, whether it be a small business or a large corporation, because everyone knows what everyone's doing. You know what you're doing. You know what you're following is in the company's or business's values. So to be harmonious would be great if you could all have a harmonious workplace, and using that acronym to follow the steps, could make for a very cohesive business.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. So if you think about harmonious, you typically think about music, right? Harmony. That's the perfect analogy for us, because all of those other business models that I mentioned, as you scale them, they tend to break down. So by default, that's something I would never actually, I've used some of them in my past business and I've watched them break down. You don't want to, it's like software. You don't want to invest in software and get everybody up to speed, and then you find out that you hire 10 more people and you break the thing, or you need a bigger version of it that's more expensive. So when you think about harmony, in terms of music, you can have one person playing on a stage. They could just play their own tune. Everything's fine, right? When you add a second person, what happens? You must have harmony, or you break the whole thing and nobody wants to listen to it. You can add, though, as many people as you want. You look at some of the biggest orchestras in the world, they have 300 to 500 people in the orchestra. Technically, there's no limit to how many people you can have in this band, in this orchestra. And that's the whole model. As long as there's harmony, you don't break the system. But when you have disharmony or dissonance, it doesn't sound good, it doesn't feel good, and nobody really wants to be there and listen to it. It's hard. That's how we look at it. This model is scalable from solopreneur up to literally Nike. My business partner consulted at Nike. So we know there's no gap in between. The more people you add, the more important it becomes to have this, so that we focus on always keeping everything in harmony and not tearing the whole thing apart.
Yeah, it's people should be able to take a leaf out of that book and use it in their own businesses. And harmony is what most business owners strive for in their organization. And you've got things like mediation and all those other things. So is that part of your business model, all those other add-on things that people normally would think about in their business?
Like mediation, you mean?
Yeah, a lot of mediation and team building, and you mentioned strategic planning, and you mentioned team meetings and things like that. Yeah, all of those things part of that business model, obviously, to bring the harmony to the business.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a perfect example too. The traditional business term for people management is human resources. How offensive is that? That we're nothing more than resources, right? So we've renamed that. The essence of human resources is home. I think not that we're creating a family, because that rubs me the wrong way. Some people hate their family, so we don't want to build that environment in the workplace, but we want to build a home. And that's actually another acronym. It stands for humans optimized in a meaningful environment. So it's two parts. You have optimized humans, which a little bit of that comes from custom roles, but also we specialize and really focus in on the human beings that are in the organization. So we have a very unique personality assessment that's based in quantum physics. That's not one of the common ones that you hear out there. So we understand who the human being is and how to optimize them from a scientific perspective. And then the meaningful environment piece is also how everyone interacts. So it's about the people interacting. It's about, you said, the meetings, the mediation. Leadership is a different discipline we call inspire. But the way that those two interact, when leadership can inspire the human beings in the organization to fulfill on the mission. So you see, I just touched 3 disciplines right there. That is power, because when you don't have inspired individuals, you have cogs in a machine. And we want to avoid that at all costs. It's not about just getting more done. It's about this collaborative environment where everybody's winning, everybody's building each other up, and we're all building the company up really as a side effect. That's the magic of this, is it's effortless to build the company when you just focus on that one little thing that you have to do in your role. Whatever your role is, whether you're a C-level executive all the way down to maybe you're just a part-time employee, you come in after work on Wednesdays or on after school on Wednesdays. Whatever that is for you, we want to make sure that the entire organization is in a meaningful environment with optimized humans. And when we have that, we can then eliminate the other. So you don't need mediation. There's no conflict. I mean, not that there's never conflict, but we're working towards a common goal, a common vision, and we can put our egos and our humanness to some degree aside, which is one of the hardest things to overcome in any business of any size. Human conflict can be a disaster for businesses. So it's not about how we manage that. We want to do our best to get in front of it and prevent it. And that's how we start to think about things too, is what are the potential issues and how can we prevent that from the start by design, rather than just saying we'll handle it when it comes up.
Yeah, it sounds like an ideal workplace, and it would be great if more businesses followed this business model where everyone's happy to come to work, they're happy to be at work, I'm not going to say they're unhappy to leave, but they're looking forward to coming in the next day because there's something to look forward to. So yeah, great model, I think, and should be adopted by every organization, big or small.
I agree. I might be a little biased, but I agree with that statement.
Brandon, have you got anything that you'd like to share about, where people can go to find out more about this business model?
Yeah, so we put together a quick little diagnostic that'll tell you kind of where you are in this model, whether you want to adopt the business model or not. It tells you where you are in these 10 disciplines, so you can start to think about your business not as this separated structure, but this cohesive unit where everything touches. It takes 8 to 10 minutes, very quick. You can go through it. And on the other side, you'll get a PDF report that kind of spells out how to fix each individual discipline and how you can tie that together as a whole. So I love giving that to the audience. If you go to our website, it's whadif.com/clarity. I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes wherever you're watching or listening. But yeah, if you go there, you'll actually get a bonus on that website where we have a 3-part audio series. You're listening to this podcast, so we're going to give you a 3-part podcast to go with it. So in episode 1, you'll take the assessment. We'll explain how to read the results and then show you what you can kind of do. And our real goal is to get you 50% of your time back as the business owner in the next 90 days. And that's what we're going to do in that 3-part series.
Wonderful. So can you just repeat that website again?
Yeah, absolutely. It's whadif.com/clarity.
Wonderful. Yeah, I've just changed the notes here on the thing to put into the show notes for later. I'm looking forward to sharing that and getting other business owners involved in this new business model and apply it to their businesses, and so businesses are less broken, as you said, and they can fix whatever it is that ails them.
Yeah, that's our goal. If you have questions on that assessment, you'll have all of the resources to reach out to us. We don't charge for that kind of stuff. It's one of our passions to be able to give small business owners their time back, that operational harmony at the same time. So please reach out. We love talking to small business owners.
Wonderful, Brandon. It's been an absolute pleasure learning about this new business model, I think, or an old business model rejigged to I guess make people more aware of to bringing happiness and I love that word harmony into their business places. I look forward to talking to you again really soon. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Rose.
You've been listening to Talking with the Experts, hosted by Rose Davidson. Make sure you have a look at our back catalogue over at talkingwiththeexperts.com. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any episode. We look forward to your company next time. Talking with the Experts.